Around how many guns do you have? Fuck. Fully built guns? I can give you this estimate, roughly. I don't know. Personally, fully built, none of your fucking business. No, I'm joking. Over 100, less than 200. Actual guns on the FFL, like as far as like actual guns, like receivers, partially built guns, you know, whatever, things that qualify as a firearm. Probably around 500, 600, something like that. I've got a problem, all right? I also have a company, so, you know, people are like, it's the ATF. I'm like, you know, to have all this shit that I have to write it in my bound book, and it's accessible to the ATF if they ever, you know, wanted to look at it. Like, that's how this works. But, yeah, no, I have several hundreds, so, yeah. And constantly acquiring more. Like, at least a gun a week at this rate, most likely. Brandon collects guns how my mom collected maternity money. Jesus fucking Christ. First thought you had upon seeing Carracker's collection. He actually had more than I thought. It's not surprising to me. Like, the dudes have been doing this for a long time, getting a lot of free guns. So, like, I'm not at all surprised, but yeah. Is there a chance for a Dishka video? Yes. Pending a couple deals, there's a very good chance of a Dishka video. The question is when and if it's going to be owned by me or not. But we're working on some stuff. Casually has SPAS 12 on the floor. Not on the floor. I got it on a stack of boxes over here. But yeah, SPAS 12, known as the Jurassic Park gun. So we've got a 12 gauge, both in pump and semi-automatic. It's kind of neat. I don't know. It's kind of cool. I don't know if I like it necessarily as an operating system. It's definitely unique. It's bulky. Like, it's really hard to show off in like proper scale, but it is very bulky. So, like the plastic up here, like this is just a massively oversized front handguard. So it's yeah, I don't know. It's cool, like, it's really neat just because it's rare and, like, you don't see it very often. It's a piece of history, piece of, like, Hollywood firearm history, but other than that, would I rock in Big Boog? No, I don't. I'm going to have to become a lot more acquainted with the manual of arms, I'll put it that way. So, put that back. Is that also a SPAS on the wall? No, that's a Mossberg 500 that when I was a lot younger, I think I was like 18, I thought it was cool to put that ATI top folding stock on it because it's like a SPAS 12. Yeah. AK or in 6.5 Creedmoor, or is it too much pressure for the design? We'll see. I could have already been finished with that project for quite some time and forgot to post a video on it. Couldn't be me. Mosin or Mauser? If I could only have one for the end of time, I'd go Mosin. Which one's the nicer gun? A Mauser. Mausers are nice. The fucking Mosin was the Honda Civic of World War I, whereas the Mauser was the Corvette or a BMW. What gun is your favorite to break down? I mean, AKs. AKs are very fun. Like, it's a nice, easy breakdown. How's the black powder collection coming? Well, I've got this baby on the desk. Completely unloaded. This gun has literally never been loaded. It's a black powder gun. That's going to take like fucking 15 minutes to load it. This is a 44 Magnum, 1847 Colt Dragoon Walker, I believe. So this is kind of cool. It's got the little lever here for loading and pressing the projectiles. So you got your cylinder here that is engraved. It's kind of neat. It's a neat little piece. So I've got two of those. One of them is up on my wall. That one is loaded, and that is a cartridge converted cylinder. So it actually shoots 45 long Colt. Only cowboy loads because you don't want to bend the frame and everything like that. You want to kind of got to baby it a little bit because it's again not really built for the pressure of modern loads and things. But yeah. What's wrong with the PSA AKs? It's like, okay, I'm gonna get going on a tangent. Let me preface this entire. Okay, you're gonna get me talking about PSAs. Let me preface this by saying that the company is extraordinarily based, and I want to like them. I think their mission statement's fucking great. They want to arm as many Americans as possible in as many ways as possible and help the overall gun community, gun industry. I think it's awesome. Know the owner. I like his fucking outlook on things, and I've been to their facility. I've worked with them. I like them as a company. Their fucking AKs have issues, man. Like, they have less and less every iteration that they have. Like, their Gen 1s were cast. It was garbage. The Gen 2s, billet, still had a lot of fucking issues. Gen 3s started fixing a lot of stuff, but I don't like the idea of, like, beta testing on customers, and frankly, they still have a lot of QC issues, a lot of weird shit that happens. I see malfunctions on AKs, or on PSA AKs, that I have never seen on other AKs before. It's just very strange. They have issues with certain things that they didn't do, like like having a tapered like firing pin retainer pin, for example, like different things that they just didn't pick up right. And they're like touted as like, oh, this is the best ever, like this is great American AK, this that. It's like, well, yes, like I'm glad that they're making them, but no, like they're not better than like Bulgarian, Russian, anything like that. Like they're not even in the same league. That being said, like I want them to be good. I want them to be great, but it's like their 74s had a lot of fucking problems. Like there's a difference between what I would like to be. Like I don't like shitting on people like that because that's why I avoid it. People are like, what do you think about PSA? And I don't talk about it usually. I want them to be good. And I like them a lot. I just don't. Yeah, they don't think that they're fantastic because somebody who has a small YouTube channel got one and put 300 rounds through it and said it was fucking amazing, because it's not the way it is. At least it's not Pioneer Arms. Yeah, Pioneer Arms is fucking dog shit. I'm okay with that. I don't really care about them. That's garbage. Which country makes the best AKs? I don't know. It's a hard one. Russia, Bulgaria, and East Germany, maybe. I think that's probably not controversial. Thoughts on Palmetto AKs? Better than the way American AKs used to be, still not great. Zastavas are good. Like, well, commercial Zastavas are not as good as military Zastavas, but the commercial stuff is still pretty good. The problem is you're gonna have the furniture isn't interchangeable, so the standard AK furniture will not fit. Like the handguard stock, all that shit will not fit on a Zastava AK. The Yugo stuff, like it just they did their own thing in a lot of regards. So if you're trying to make accessories fit easily, Zastava is not the way to go. Some companies make like Zastava versions of the product that they make, but it is different. Thoughts on the Kalashnikov USA and their AK, specifically the 103. Been looking at one for a while. I think they're decent. They're probably from my experience with them, they're probably the better U.S. builder of AKs that are like completely domestically built. Like they build it from the ground up. The problem is I think they have just production issues. Like they can't get that many out on the market. So like they've made shockingly small amounts of their 7.62 guns. So yeah, it's like they're considered like on the market, but nobody can find them. Any recommendation for a starter AK around 1300? If you got 1300, spend 1500 and get an arsenal. Try to get one. Best low budget AK for first AK. Man, go for Arsenal if you're going to buy AK, and if you can't afford Arsenal, try a Wasser. Those are my two recommendations. Anything other than that, and you're just talking about like tiers of compromise. Get an SKS if you can't afford an AK. No, that's kind of shit advice. I mean, I dig my SKS. It's a cool piece of firearm history. Operating system's neat. And it's got a, it's a neat firearm. They're not comparable. It's not a modern battle rifle at all. Or not battle rifle, but combat rifle, I suppose. Brandon, where can I buy an AKG Warfighter? You can't right now. We did a very small run. They're sitting in the shop right now, but whenever we list them on the website, just pay attention on social media. And yeah, I mean, we'll announce when we do a run of them. We just don't focus a lot on building for commercial stuff anymore. I do a lot for friends and stuff like that, but I don't know. We don't focus heavily on building products for like consumer stuff. just because it takes up a lot of time. We have a lot of projects right now. AK-50 shit, and people are blowing us up. Oh, Kalashnikov, St. Petersburg typewriter. This stuff takes time and a lot of like R&D shit. So you have to choose where to put your resources. And right now the channel is more profitable, and honestly, I have a lot of fun with, like, I mean, I get to keep the shit at the end of the day, so. Oh, man. Are commercial AKs the goal in the future? Not really. We want to do a little bit just to keep doing it, you know, keep getting guns into people's hands, keep building guns. Really want to do a lot more custom work, but what's the point, you know? Do you have any guns that have seen combat? It's really hard to tell, but yeah, no, I've got plenty that... I have plenty of guns that have probably seen combat. I'm trying to think if I have any that I know for sure have been. I mean, I have guns that I know for sure were issued to soldiers, but I have magazines that I know have seen combat. I've got mags that are like engraved with shit on it that have been issued to like militia troops in Bulgaria and stuff like that for like skirmishes in the 90s. But I don't know. I think it's safe to say the Type 1 did. I don't know. I don't know about that, man. It's really hard to say for sure in any regard. How old were you when you shot your first gun? I don't remember. At least as young as 8. I know for a fact I shot a gun at 8. What revolver would you suggest for a first-time gun owner? I would not suggest a revolver, period, for a first-time gun owner. Go with the 9mm semi-auto. I agree. Glock 19. If you want a handgun, Glock 19 is that is like the everyman's starter handgun. What is the historically oldest Russian weapon you have? Probably the Nagant revolver that I have. It's from 1936. It's probably the oldest one. Do you have any lever guns? Yes. I'm getting some, I think, from Henry, but I do have a Rossi 44 Magnum lever action. Do I own a Lee-Enfield? No, I do not. It's actually an interesting little gap there in my collection. Interested in building yourself a 2011 pistol? No, but I'm interested in having somebody who knows more than me about 2011s build one for me. I think that'd be cool. I like 2011s. Will you get an STG-44? You're assuming I don't have one. That's a big assumption, my friend. Do RPGs have an arming distance? Some do. I think the majority of the newer ones do, yeah. Depends on the warhead. If you could time travel, would you go back in time and meet Mikhail Kalashnikov? Fucking obviously, yeah. Yeah, fuck yeah. Do you have any guns with historical significance? Plenty. I've got a Luger and a P38. I've got a Luger that's from like 1914, I believe. I think it was 1914. And I've got a Reich-marked P38. I think it's pretty dope. How's hanging with the Polenar guys? Man, I love those guys. They're fucking awesome. Good fucking blokes. Can you get your hands on a Swedish AK5C? Yes, I can. The question is how much I want to fucking pay for it. They're on Gunbroker for like, dude, 5-6 grand. Like, people are like, oh, can you get your hands on this? I'm like, yeah, you know, every time I get my hands on one of these things, it's like $5,000. Good place to buy forged AK Trunions? Depends on why you're asking, because it's not an AR. You can't just plug and play on this shit. Would you ever build a Kalashnikov prototype SMG? No, I don't think so. I mean, what's the point? It's not like it was a good machine gun. Otherwise, the only thing cool about it is that Kalashnikov made it. Like, that it's got historic value. And if you try to reproduce it, it ruins the historic value. So, you know, who cares? Recommend any side mount rail systems aside from RS Regulate. It seems to be constantly... it just seems to constantly be hard for me to find their stuff in stock. Yeah, it's the problem with good shit. It's out of stock a lot of times. Yeah, RS Regulate's really good. Like the owner, like the product. It's good stuff. You can get other side rails that are decent too. Like KVAR sells one. Like Arsenal's is pretty decent, I think. You can find some not bad ones. Just don't go cheap. Don't go like for one of the fucking $20, $30 side rails, because you'll get $20, $30 performance out of it. Are you going to suppress the SCAR? I have no plans to suppress the SCAR immediately. Not right now. Thoughts on AK-19? Hoping that... Are you planning on getting a PPSH 41? I've already had a kit for a while. It's just, you know, building it. There's so many fucking projects, man. Ever consider buying a regular musket? I already have one. You should try to get your hands on a BAR. I've already shot the BAR on video. We did it for the American machine guns of World War II video. How's work on the Tommy Slav? The Kami Tommy or the St. Petersburg typewriter? Probably will have the video in the next week, so keep your eyes out. Keep your eyes peeled, because you better fucking click on that video. God damn, that gun was so goddamn hard to build. It's a good optic for a SCAR 17S. I put an AKOG on it, because, you know, AKOG and SCARs go together like peas and carrots. But I haven't tried it yet, and honestly, I'm not sure how I like it. I'm gonna have to play with it a good bit. Any plans on doing a video with your Lanchester? I'm probably gonna do a video with the Lanchester at some point. It just doesn't seem all that interesting for like a standalone video. Will you be doing a video on the PPS 43? Yes, most likely I will. Will you ever make and sell AS VALs? No. A lot goes into even if it's copying a design, a lot goes into that, and a lot goes into production. Frankly, it's not fucking worth it. It's just not. Do you have any? Do you have interest in doing an FGC9 versus Luty video? Not really. I think they both stand on their own. It's better to do them individually. I still haven't done one on the FGC9. Make a Glockarov. No. L1A1 where? I don't want one. I don't think. So I don't know. Somebody else's arsenal.